Today I'm going to show you how to make Christmas cookies using polymer clay. Start by rolling out your clay into a thin layer and then use a toothbrush to add texture to remove all of the bubbles so there's no cracking or breaking. Heading on into the next step, you're going to go ahead and grab your cookie cutters and place it directly over the top of the dough or your clay. Then you're going to go around the cookie cutters and remove all that excess clay. Once you remove that excess clay, you can grab each one of your cookies and slightly push it with your thumb. Make sure that you don't push too hard so you don't make any imprints inside the cookie dough. Once you get out your cookies, you can go ahead and grab that extra clay, roll it out again, and then we can repeat that process with different cookies. Starting with a candy cane, you're going to go ahead again and just add texture all over, picking it up, and then adding texture to the sides all the way around. Use your fingers to kind of grip around it so there's no breaking when you're adding your texture. I'm speeding up the video, you're not going to go this fast, but you are going to try to be as careful as you can so you don't break your candy cane. To add that baked look on the candy cane, I'm going to use some of my baked mix using my mixed pastels. You want to make sure they're soft pastels. I can go ahead and leave a link in the bottom in the description below so that you can check out my other video where I explain in depth how to get that baked look and what colors to use. You want to start by adding a darker color on the edges and then going more towards the center and blending out. We'll go ahead and add more darkening with a different color around the edges again. Those who follow my channel know that I really focus on realism and I like to work with a lot of realistic clay making versus some of the other cartoony or other kind of clay. I really enjoy working with the realism in clay. So starting again, we're going to go ahead and repeat that process with the next cookie, going around the edges and adding texture, and then we're going to be adding texture to the front and the back. You can place it on a plastic sheet or however you would like to do it to add the texture. I found it a little bit easier to add the pastels with a plastic thing in the back just so that it wouldn't bend. Now we're going to repeat that process for the next cookie again. I'm only going to show you guys a couple cookies here, just so you guys can get the hang of what I'm doing. But basically going around the edges again in a dark color, and then I'm going to start bringing it in the center with a little bit less pastel on the brush. You always want to make sure that you're blending out all of your lines. The way I think about it is your makeup. You don't want harsh lines on your face, so think about that when you are doing your pastels. Make sure that you're blending really well those lines around the edges with the center part to make sure that it's not an actual line going all the way around. It's just a blended out line, if that makes sense. Once you finish that, we're going to go ahead and grab that toothbrush and add a little bit of texture, and then we're going to complete the rest of the center part, adding a little bit darker texture in the middle. Then you can just remove the cookie. Here I let my son help me out a little bit. He was super excited. He wanted to try how I did the edges. He's been watching my channel for a while now, and he really enjoys trying different tutorials that I post, of course with my help, but he really enjoys making clay and making things out of clay, and he's learning how to do that realism. Here I'm just going back in and adding more texture to each one of these, and then after I add the texture, I'm going to add the dark color around all of the edges. Once you've completed all your cookies, you're going to go ahead and grab your frosting. Go ahead and check out my video below and I will show you how I make all my frosting. But basically you just take your liquid polymer clay and you'll add it to your regular clay, and you'll mix it until that you get the consistency that you want. It's pretty simple, but I can go ahead and leave a link below so you can check that out too. To start that frosting, you're just going to place it on everywhere, all over the cookie. Don't really worry about what it looks like at this point. Once you get it on there, you can go ahead and start adding texture and swirls. I like to do different patterns. One of my favorites is the swirl pattern. I think it looks really realistic, almost like a piping bag. I'll show you here how I do that once I get all of the frosting on the cookie. on all of the cookies. Now you're just going to repeat that process with the rest of your snowman. I also added some nail balls that I have. They're like little beads, but they look really realistic, just like sprinkles. They're micro beads. I can leave a link in the description below where I got those as well. To get the different color frostings, I just added pastels to each one of my frostings. Here I'm just going to show you how I get that texture. I just do it in a circle of motion, and then I go right over with the sprinkles. I'm going to go in and change the color to red. Make sure you start out with your frosting, and you'll add your pastel to that white frosting. First, I'm going to start by placing white frosting all along the cookie. You want to make it a little bit thick. Don't worry about it being too thin. You definitely want to make sure you have enough frosting. If you don't, you're going to have to make more. But go ahead and layer that on pretty thickly. Make sure that when you do the cookie, you're doing the side that you did not texturize or add pastels, so that pastel part will be on the back side. Then you're going to add your sprinkles. Now you're going to grab a wire and you're going to cross it over and then twist it. Now you're going to make a loop at the top. And after you make the loop, you're going to start looping up the bottom. You're going to loop up both sides of the bottom and you're going to squish them together. You're trying to make the wire as flat as you can, but still add a little bit of texture to it so it doesn't slide out as easy. Once you get it where you want to, you can grab that cookie, lay it directly inside of the cookie, and then you're going to add frosting directly on the top of that. Here I'm going to show you how to do that. Now you can just grab that cookie and lay it directly inside, and then you're going to add that frosting right on the top of it. Once you add that frosting, you can go ahead and add a little bit of sprinkles back on, just so it looks exactly like the rest of the cookie. Repeat the process with all of them, or only the ones that you plan on using as ornaments. And here they are before I'm going to put them in the oven. Make sure that you space them out really well before baking them. Placed all of the baked cookies on a glass plate, and then I set them on the fireplace on the mantle. This was just a really cute addition. I had people over and they were thinking they were real cookies because, like I said, if you flip them on the other side, they also are finished on the other side as well. I'll just show you what they look like on the opposite side. They literally look like sugar cookies, like real sugar cookies. And here are the ones that are the ornaments. These were super cute, hung up on the tree. I ended up making about 10 of these and placing them on my tree. They really did well with holding the weight with the frosting and where I put the wire. I had no issue with any of the cookies breaking or falling apart. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Bye!